Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We also do ISO certification in all derivatives. We've been in business now 13 years. Our experience is 40 plus years in aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution. Where we dealt with every industry under the sun. I'm not going to go into my education, but it's basically in materials such as aluminum, titanium, alloys, composites, plastics, the resin systems, fastening systems, adhesive systems, and others. We also are a level 2 penetrant inspector. I'm going to go into this right now, this video today, because he came in, Stephen Mollenkopf. He came in from Boeing, QA expert and Boeing shareholder, Daryl Guberman, educates Boeing board member, Stephen Mollenkopf. And I think, Steve, you were the guy that was that had to pick out the dark horse, and you picked out Mr. Robert Kelly Oberg, who was formerly the CEO of Rockwell Collins that made the MCAS system. Actually, they designed it, they manufactured it, and they implemented it on the 737 MAX. You being a Qualcomm guy, we did videos upon you, and Qualcomm does not have under your tutelage, their quality was a little bit substandard from what I've gathered in the data that we have, especially I think there was some stock manipulation and the SEC had to get involved, the Securities Exchange Commission. We're going to continue now, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we sent a 42-page document. These are the Boeing return card requests. This is the actual document. If you want a copy of it, please, Daryl Guberman. It's 203-556-1493 or Daryl, DARYL, at yahoo.com. The funniest thing is nothing happens by chance because there's 11 letters of recommendation in this booklet. There's 11 board members. And we put down our CV and we put other items in there to let them know about my background because after watching David Calhoun, and we were there on June 18th, and he is an accountant. He has no experience when it comes to aerospace, maybe going down GE's line and touching the cowling, unless he was home in New Hampshire, where I heard that that's where he was ruling the roost. He was very rarely on campus there. Now we're going to go in. On April 17th, Steve, I was there at the Capitol Hill supporting Sam Salapar. And mind you this, Steve, I was not asked to talk. I was not invited to talk. I got up and spoke because I care about people flying on these things. That, as you're going to see, Boeing gave up special process certification. Means you don't have to go on site. Boeing didn't have to send any on-site inspectors. Okay, they didn't have to send any on-site inspectors to their components through a supplier bulletin, which we are going to show you very shortly. In 2013, Steve, I was approved 50% by the ASQ, American Society for Quality. They own the American National Credit Board 50%, and the American National Standards Institute own them 50%. I was told that we have no problem with what you're doing, Mr. Guberman. In fact, ANAB supports you. We'll gladly send you this, Steve, or you can slow down the video and stop and look for yourself. Also, in 2015, we had Randy Doherty, the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the IF, and also the principal of the 990 tax firm of the IF, which means he had complete control. He handed over leadership to this communist Chinese national, Zhao Jinwu, who was not only the chairman now of the IF, he was the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services, which certified the suspect lab, not suspect, the laboratory that released the virus. Why? Because when he walked in 2017, we have a picture of him, Steve. We have everything. He gave the laboratory certificate, a 17,000 certificate number, or probably 17025, what have you, to a laboratory that was ill-prepared. The scientists were complaining. And how we found that out is that we dug deeper, and scientists who went over to the Wuhan virology lab in 2018, the scientists were complaining that they did not have enough trained technicians. And part of that quality certificate is you have to ensure the integrity of that facility that you're sending a certificate in. You just can't haphazardly give the certificate. Well, Zhao Jinwu, the CEO, the chairman of the IF, and the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services gave it to an ill-prepared laboratory. Yes. And Pamela Sale, the vice president of ANSI ANAP for laboratory, Steve, said that from one laboratory to another there are variances. They lack protocol. Isn't that nice? So she confessed to the release of the COVID virus. Here's ANSI is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental corporation. It's been around for over 100 plus years. They have federal agencies and corporations on board. ANSI took over complete control over ANAP in 2018, and between 2015 and 21, they were sitting on the IAF by China. And let me just say this, with the federal agencies and corporations, if you look and Google all this mess, you'll find out that DHS got hacked during that time, DOJ, FBI, etc. All those federal agencies that sit on ANSI ANAP's board as members. Unbelievable, right? This shows you that, yes, the IAF was founded by ANSI, an affiliate by ANAP, which means they're also underwriters and also underwriters for IAF's sister organization, ILAC, the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. IAF is an association of accreditation bodies, both national and international. The IAF is incorporated in Delaware, so you had a communist Chinese national running an American company. You find anything wrong with that? Especially when he's mandated to take our data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. Yes, sirree. Isn't that nice? You have the factor, here it is, that they are a sister organization. You would stop the video and look at it. Here is a candid picture of Randy and Zhao Jinwu. I want to show this to you, a bigger picture. Now we come up on Boeing, and this is a good one. Steve, this is a very good one. You have Boeing that sits on ANSI ANAP's board that forces this accreditation body down their suppliers and subcontractors. In 2002, special processes for heat treat, welding, etc. were handed over to the Performance Review Institute, which Boeing says, send in your cert, send your parts. You don't have to have an on-site audit to any of our companies for 22 years. On this side of the world, on this side is the bulletin from 2002. This was in April, the special processes. In July of 2002, they said that just send in your AS9100 certificate. Okay, you got that, Steve? Send in your AS90. As long as it's ANSI ANAP accredited, you send in your cert, you send in your parts, and Steve, Boeing doesn't have to come there on site for 22 years. In 2009, Steve, you will notice that Boeing was made an FAA regulator, which means they are an agency of the FAA. That means that the CEOs, both from probably Jim McNerney to Dennis Muhlenberg to David Calhoun, were all pale FAA administrators because they made some of the employees at Boeing FAA inspectors, but they were getting Boeing salary. Isn't that nice? And they did not have to tell anyone about the MCAS system or anything else that went in new aircraft design. They didn't have to tell. Okay, in 2019, that's why I have 2019 here, you had an FAA spokesperson get up and say, the FAA never allows any company to police or self-certify. That's a lie. On Boeing's supplier portal where the suppliers go, they said, third-party registers must be ANSI, ANAP, or international equivalent, China, Iran, Pakistan, for example, because they are all equivalent to ANSI, ANAP. This they most recently took down because I took a snapshot of it, as you can see. I took a snapshot of it. You see the date in the corner over there in March. And they took it down because, you know what? This Management Systems Accreditation Committee can grant, suspend, or withdraw certification. Guess who sits on there? Boeing does. Your organization. When they were still FAA an agency of the FAA in 2017, they got caught fudging documentation on the steel that went inside of their aircraft. Also, Kobe Steel, their supplier, also got caught. Isn't that nice? Birds that flock together. Unbelievable. Over here, you will see DOJ, DHS, FAA, and Boeing all sit on ANSI ANAP's board. The problem is that you're going to see in the next placard, you're going to see that you have the Department of Commerce, you have the Homeland Security, Department of Justice, and the FDA. All, not only are they members of ANSI ANAP, the accreditation body that Boeing uses, but they are also customers. They buy for a fee, a service. Now we bring your friend out here, Mr. Robert Kelly Oatberg, who was the CEO during the MCAS system being designed, manufactured, and implemented. He never got called into the DHS for inquisition, but Dennis Muhlenberg did, and Dennis Muhlenberg had to step down with a $60 million death benefit from the 340 people that went down in those two ships. Yet the real conundrum is the MCAS system did not have to be told to the FAA, the installation of that. They didn't say anything to them, it appears. And the DOJ came around and said that that Boeing was lying to the FAA. No, they are an FAA agency between 2009 and 2019. 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS, @yahoo.com. I thank you.